What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Cucco Attack. This is episode 25?
Oh shoot, I didn't look that up.
I think it's 25, which would be perfect since we are recording this on December 25th. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Very much belated because it will take me a while to upload this.
No worries.
Yeah.
So I'm Chad Hambrock. With me, as always,
Patrick Hughes here.
And we have a special guest who is likely going to be a regular on the podcast these days.
I am Sadish.
Sadish is in the house. So, it took 20...
speaking.
Yes, no, everybody's in their house, actually, so...
You won't see him in the video version, but you will hear him.
He will be here.
In my jammies. I am not appropriate for the internet.
What is appropriate for the internet? But yeah, if you like our banter, you can find us on all podcasting platforms. For the most part, we're on Anchor FM, which goes out everywhere. So check us out.
And if you check us on YouTube, you'll see nice little video clips that I add in. So go ahead and check that if you like to see what we talk about.
That's what you get to look forward to. So this is our first episode since July of this past year. There is a lot of stuff we haven't talked about.
Normal podcast we haven't done. Yeah. So there's a lot of news. A lot of news.
Well, a lot of news. Yeah, we'll try to get through this stuff pretty quick.
Or when I say a lot of news, we'll talk about what we care about. So. Don't worry, it won't be too much. It'll be a lot of Nintendo, because me and Chad are Nintendo nerds.
And then we got Sadish here with the PlayStation scoop.
No.
You don't like that?
All
right.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah, well, whatever. You're the PlayStation guy who won our fantasy league. He won the fantasy league with his draft of every PS5 exclusive title and in his picks. Worked out well in his favor, especially him offloading Stray to myself.
Yes.
And
I shake my fist at you, but well played.
And it came down to what, 10 points, something like that?
I think last I checked, it was 9 points. It was a very close game, at least between us. Yes.
Yeah, I was out of this race months ago when I picked up Mario Golf Superstar or Super Rush. So here's the 2022.
I'm looking forward to the next draft. Oh yes, it's going to be much more heated.
Yeah, we'll definitely have our draft in the next few days. So probably have this podcast go up and then the draft go up, or same time. Depends when we can record this stuff. Yes. And how much effort we want to put into editing. Usually the draft will just be a straight upload. So
yeah, I'll put some nice background music at least for it.
So, all right. Well, I'll let you take the lead here, Patrick.
All right.
Since
I think the part of this news back that we will need to go to is Nintendo had a direct in I think September. Pretty sure it was September. But we'll just kind of skim through I think one of the coolest announcements they had was a new Kirby game, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, because it is a 3D Kirby game. Like, no one was expecting that, or maybe there were some rumors. I didn't believe them, but it happened, and I was like, oh my gosh, this looks like kind of like almost a light Kirby Mario Odyssey kind of deal. It was like roaming through this ruined city and stuff, and it just looks cool. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm totally down for a new Kirby game. The last one was pretty easy. I played the demo and was just kind of like, yeah, I'm not gonna buy that, but I'm sure it'd be fun. So
yeah, I haven't really enjoyed a good Kirby game since like 3DS time.
Robo
Planet.
Yeah, Robo Planet.
That one was really good. Yeah. But even then, that's just like your typical fare of 2D scrolling Kirby, cool combinations of powers, but it's not really ever reinventing the wheel, so that's why I'm really intrigued by this one. and the use you could do for puzzles and stuff with powers in a 3D world. I think it's gonna be really cool.
Was Crystal Shards 3D?
It was a 2D game. It was
2D.
like what you'd call 2.5D.
Gotcha.
Um,
I never played it, so
that's probably my favorite Kirby game still from the N64. Yeah.
I've heard it's really, really good, and it'll be on our next topic on the N64 eventually. But
that's a good segue right there.
Yeah. So
the other big announcement of that Direct was Switch Online. It's finally getting something new. We all thought it was going to be Game Boy, but no. Instead, it is N64 and Genesis games, and later learned Animal Crossing DLC.
Yeah, so and everyone thought it was going to be like a $5 to $10 increase, but no, sir, it was going to be a $50 a year for an individual or $80 family plan, which was more than double of the $19.99 cost up to from the $35
$20
family.
a year to $50. Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, pretty crazy for what
Is
they
that
had.
just because of the new emulated games?
Likely, but they also tossed in that Animal Crossing DLC, which they were selling for what, 20,
I believe
25 on its own.
$25 separately.
Yeah, so if you play Animal Crossing, it's really kind of worth it, I guess.
That is really the only way I can justify, unless you really, really love these.
Yeah,
old
but
school
so
64
what'll
games.
happen if you stop paying for it?
If
You
you
no longer have access to that Animal Crossing DLC?
correct.
I can give you the details on Animal Crossing specifically. Yeah. So the Animal Crossing DLC gives you access to this island called Happy Home Paradise, where you build vacation homes and do all kinds of cool stuff to build homes for your animals and stuff. But yeah, if you unsubscribe from it, you lose access to that island. But you do retain all the skills and stuff that you learn on that island. So, because you learn like house building skills and stuff, which you can use in the main game. So if you get your fill of Happy Home Paradise and you like finish it and you're happy, you don't really have to worry about it because you keep all the stuff that you've earned from it. You just can't go to that Happy Home Island anymore. So, and I think you could more than enjoy that content within a year's time span.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like if you're gonna buy it, if you're gonna buy the expansion or the DLC anyway, I think it's worth it if you had any interest in N64 or Genesis, which got added. Just because even if you don't pay for a year, I mean, they usually still have like the monthly options and stuff too, so that you can buy at the store. I'm pretty
That's
sure.
still like
So
double. the
Unfortunately,
normal
I
price,
don't-
You said
you don't think they do that anymore?
I don't think for the expansion pass they did any monthly ones. I think it was only the year plan
Gotcha.
if you want an expansion pass.
Yeah, you might be right. Or
Yeah.
you just do what I did and you join somebody's family plan,
There you go.
and then you pay less than you were paying before. So,
Yeah. Because the
so
family plan can have up to 8 people.
yeah,
So for $80, that's really like $10 a person
yeah.
if they even ask for money. Some people were just cool and be like, yeah, why not? I got
Yeah.
an open slot.
Yeah, exactly. So that's I thank your brother for that one. He definitely hooked
Yeah.
me up for that. But yeah, I mean, I have no interest in Animal Crossing DLC. I don't have the game anyway. But N64 and Genesis, I wanted mostly. Mostly, I've always said I wanted to play Banjo-Kazooie again. Because I have tried
Which
playing
is
it.
coming out in January, coming soon.
Coming soon to a Switch near you. So I'm looking forward to that. I have played around with it very minimally. I played a little bit of Mario 64, and I played the first stage of Star Fox 64. Just to do that like secret, like the second path going towards
that first
Andros through the
level,
waterfall,
yeah.
and I just did that, and I did buy the N64 controller, which I have right next to me, still in the box, with other Switch games on top of it.
which was the other announcement. Those N64 controllers. What
Yeah.
are those? $50 each.
$50 each plus shipping and tax. So,
Oh,
or maybe shipping was free. I think shipping was free, but tax. I think after tax, it ended up being like $63 or something like that. Or maybe I did pay shipping. I don't know. I think it was $63 though. After.
Have you tried using the controller?
No, it's still in the box.
Oh. Okay.
Haven't
I was
opened it yet.
curious with those N64 games you
Yeah,
mentioned.
I'll play it when Banjo comes out, probably.
Just the feel.
Yeah, the only reason I
natural.
played Mario and Star Fox just handheld,
Okay.
so that's all I've really done so far. And Mario definitely felt weird because of the button mapping. Like I know a lot of people complain about that, but it definitely felt a little funky with the control scheme that is there.
Gotcha.
But you can redo it. But yeah, so I mean, N64 to me, there's about 20 good games on it. So out of that library of about 270 games, like yeah, they're gonna drip feed these out like once a month.
Yeah.
And
It's definitely a small handful, but the ones that are good are very good.
yeah, and I would agree to that too. The big story out of the launch was Sin and Punishment getting a US release, because that never came out in the US.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But going away, and then with N64 as well, we got Paper Mario in December. So it launched in November. We get Paper Mario in December, and then Banjo-Kazooie's been announced for January. So
Yeah.
they still have dates for Majora's Mask, Mario Golf, Pokemon Snap, F-Zero, Kirby. They showed off as coming soon,
Yeah.
but no
You know
dates yet.
This might be one of the best ways to play Majora's Mask now that I think about it, with the quick save feature.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. So
If you've never played that, yeah.
yeah, I'm definitely.
I know people like the N64 version better.
I-
than the 3DS one.
I love the
love
3DS version.
one. Yeah, but with quick saves, maybe I could give the N64 one another shot.
Yeah, but I think the surprise out of this though was really the Genesis coming to N64 or to the Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah, no one
'cause
saw that coming.
no one saw Genesis. We all thought Game Boy, but Sega's kind of just out there taking money and throwing games. But I mean, the lineup that they're releasing like right off the bat was like pretty amazing. Like Castlevania Bloodlines is known as one of like the best Castlevania games in the series. Contra Hardcore is another one that's massive. Gunstar Heroes is one of the like best games on Genesis. Musha is a shooter that's like extremely expensive on the Genesis. Shinobi 3 is one of the best Shinobi games. Sonic 2 is like the definitive Sonic game outside of like Sonic and Knuckles. You can't go wrong with Streets of Rage. And since then, those are just some of the
Oh, that's right. They did announce like
they
5
announced
more.
Yeah, they already did a expansion pack for December for Genesis, and they released Altered Beast, which was like the original pack-in game for the Genesis. Thunder Force 2, Toe Jam and Earl, which is like Toe Jam and Earl, like I remember it as a kid being this like game everybody talked about, but like when I actually tried to play it, I'm like, what the hell is this game? It's so weird. Dynamite Heady was like a really good platformer. I remember playing that as a kid. And then Sword of, what is that? Vermilion? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But it's like an RPG or action adventure or something like that. But regardless, like they've added some really good Genesis games. If you have any interest in checking out Genesis and
I think the Genesis games. Yeah, I think they're making up for the drip feed that is N64.
Yeah, I mean, like even adding like Golden Axe and Echo the Dolphin. I mean, those are like staple games that came out on the Genesis back in the day. So it's a very good snapshot of like when the Genesis came out. So that was like the big surprise, and I really hope that we do get Game Boy eventually, but I don't know if it's gonna happen at this point.
It took them how many years to add a new console after they did? I guess they started with just NES, and then it was a year or two before SNES.
Yeah.
and I guess another year or two before they added this.
Yeah.
So.
But it'd be nice if we end up getting like, turbo, and because that was a big thing with the Wii, was that the Wii had turbo graphics games.
That was pretty
And
crazy.
people are like, what the hell? Like nobody had a turbo graphics. So it was, I got one back there on the shelf, but I didn't have it as a kid. I knew what it was.
I'm kind of curious if they'll do any more DLC also, kind of like they did with Animal Crossing.
And that would be really cool, because that would definitely make the value of the $50 a year for an individual stand out more. Like Xbox is giving you your games for gold, PlayStation gives you your PS Plus free monthly games.
Yeah.
So if you're at least giving like Hyrule Warriors DLC, or
and the fact that this is getting close to those same
price points,
subscription service prices, you'd think, they might try to compete a little with that.
Yeah.
Not that N64 or Genesis games aren't cool, but compared to what those other plans are giving, yeah.
Yeah, I got 3 games today from PS Plus that were all like $40 and up, but will I ever play them? Probably not, but might as well claim them while I can.
If they made some Mario Party DLC, threw that in, I would probably buy Mario Party and be like, all right, I'm in.
Cool, because
at least 3 boards and let's go.
At least then that they're going to support the game too by doing that. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But
Nintendo's got a large lineup of indie games on their console too, so I don't see why they can't just start pushing out like a free indie game every month.
That'd be pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Even if you own them, like other people, like put some snipper clips for people who never played that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, they published that too, so you'd think.
That one's a Nintendo one. So.
That's like a perfect example.
And the indie games I've always felt played the best on the Switch, just because of how some of them can be kind of simple, but they're enjoyable.
Yeah. They have a really pick up and play kind of mentality.
Right. They're made to be run on. Well, just being indie. They're not exactly.
What's that? 50 worldwide games, whatever one. Like board game, tabletop.
Oh, Clubhouse games?
Clubhouse games, yeah, that would be a great one too. I'd love that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Aren't they doing like a DLC for that game? I feel like I heard something about that. I don't know, maybe I'm talking but I could have swore I heard something about that.
Yeah. Something that would use the online ideally would be nice. Just because this is an online plan, so
for sure,
get us to play together.
Give us back like Mario 35, or those type of games. Like, I don't know, it's kind of weird to just axe that, or give us like an NES remix or something.
Ooh,
like those games.
NES remix online or something.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
Or Nintendo Land online or something. Like just some little mini game thing they have would be pretty cool.
Oh man.
So, but that's that. I guess the big issue out of that, I'm sure everyone's aware of at this point, is that the emulation is apparently not very good.
That's right. Yeah.
I did notice a little bit of lag with Mario 64 when I first fired it up. It just felt like just on the main screen when you move the little hand around to select your file, it felt so off to me. Like just first glance, but when I played Star Fox, it felt fine. I was able to, get the secret, go to the waterfall, fight the boss, all that stuff. It was no problem.
Ability updates as it just launched, so
yeah. So
although people are complaining about where's my fog and stuff. So
yeah, it's definitely interesting, but it's I don't know. It's lazy, I guess. People that's their argument, is that it's lazy, and people just say it's the ROMs, and I think the big thing to know here is that the ROM is just the game. What you see on the screen is what the emulator can do with that ROM. So the emulator needs to be able to be configured per ROM. That's out of my realm, but from the emulation I've done over the years, I know that that's how it works. The ROM you download or the ROM they provide you is the same ROM that's on the game. Nothing changed, unless they like specifically went in and like modified text or something in the game file. But yeah, your fog and effects, that's all based on the configuration of the emulator. So, that's why N64 emulation has been garbage, even in the like, even in the like public emulation scene. It's just the hardest thing from like what everyone says, and that's why the accuracy is like always been hit or miss.
Was the N64's like chipset that different?
Yeah, it was very custom and just apparently like a big pain in the developer said it sucked working on the N64. So like
it was the beginning of Nintendo's stubborn era.
Yep. Yeah, it was like not getting off the cartridges, and everyone else like Sony going to CD, and then like even like the Saturn was on the CD and stuff like that.
Nintendo trying to compensate it by making like the DD drive or whatever it's called.
The DD drive, in Japan, never came out here.
And then,
yeah. Wasn't that supposed to have Earthbound?
I think that's when they were like experimenting, making Earthbound
and I think Ocarina of Time. I think Ocarina of Time was originally supposed to be a DD game too, but
yeah, they did some weird experimentation on the N64 back in the day, though. Even other developers were like doing weird experiments. Like I remember the story between Rare and like them trying to do Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, and they wanted to do like exchange data between the two, and they made a stop and swap system where they wanted you to pull out the cartridge and put in the other cartridge at the same time.
Yeah, that was something that just got
and then Nintendo was like, no, you cannot do that.
That came up in like it was like an interview like within the last year or two. That like somebody either spilled it or maybe it leaked that was a thing, like an email or something. But yeah, that was pretty cool to hear that. Like
it was really cool though, what they were like trying to experiment and push the limits of that system. This very unique system.
I could hear like people breaking their games constantly.
Trying
to do that.
That's why it was a red flag. They're like, you should not do this.
Yeah. When it like specifically tells you like, do not remove the cartridge while power is on. Sounds like a way to fry a chip easily. So. But yeah.
So that was probably the biggest story that we did not cover. Switch Online. They did have one other announcement in that direct about a Mario movie coming out next year. They finally gave us a date for holiday next year and a cast, which was just it's absurd. It has ignited the imaginations of everyone. So Mario, Chris Pratt, yeah.
I have nothing to say about it. Like, I have no issues with Chris Pratt. Like, I know everybody like kind of lost their.
It's not just Chris Pratt. It's just the whole cast.
It's just weird, yeah. Like
Charlie Day's Luigi.
Yeah. Jack Black as Bowser.
Seth Rogen, Donkey Kong. It's just.
Like, unless Donkey Kong's just like stoned out of his mind, the whole thing. Like, I do not picture Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, or maybe though, unless he's just like.
Apparently, Donkey Kong movie is after Mario. That's what they have lined up, and it will be Seth Rogen again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like Charles should have been Mario. Like, I don't know. I mean, but at the same time, like, do you want to hear Mario talk like Mario for?
Apparently, he's going to be in the movie still doing surprise cameos.
It'd probably be like Wario and Waluigi.
Wario
and stuff.
Maybe. Or I've heard like the theory floating around that this is some like weird Mario origin movie, and like maybe he'll meet Mario. I don't know, like original self, or I don't know.
Yeah,
and it does kind of make sense why Donkey Kong would be in this movie, like
as an origin.
Donkey Kong arcade game. I don't know.
Yeah, that is true.
I would love it if they were able to somehow stick John Leguizamo into this movie.
Yeah.
Just somewhere.
Like, if it's like what Patrick just said, though, like the arcade origins, it's gonna be like Seth Rogen, like, "Hey, I just stood at the top and I throw barrels," and, like just stupid, like, and then,
like a weird Wreck-It Ralph kind of deal.
Yeah, exactly. Like a really, really like stoned Wreck-It Ralph.
That sounds entertaining to me.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, I'm in regardless of who's casted. I'm gonna watch it. Doesn't necessarily mean I'll like it, but I'll watch it.
Yeah. I love the memes that have spawned from this, like people just making up casting choices for other characters that might be in the movie. Like, you put Whoopi Goldberg as Birdo, or just like, I don't know.
What's funny is that now you've got like because of the Chris,
no one can tell if it's real or fake. Yeah,
because it's Chris Pratt now, and then you also hear like it was like a week after this, it was like Chris Pratt will play the voice of Garfield. And then now, anytime there's an animated movie, it's like, well, I guess Chris Pratt's gonna play the voice of this person. So it's like that one, like, you know, he has Guardians of the Galaxy, and then you've got whatchamacallit, the Lego movies, and now he's just the voice of everybody.
I forgot he was the voice in the Lego movie.
Yeah. And that's why he's got this like voice work, I guess, because there's what, like 2 or 3 of those, right?
No, it did work really well on that. I didn't mind it.
Yeah. So I'm in regardless. So
yeah. Oh, I need to see this now. I'm just so curious. But yeah, I thought we just at least had to mention that in this list of news stories.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on. The last big news for Smash Brothers, as of course the last Smash character was finally revealed and released, along with the last wave of Mii fighters, which the only one that was really worth mentioning was Doom Guy.
Doom Guy.
Which crushes all the and so for Doom Guy being a fighter, but I'm glad he got in a little bit, just so he can fight with Isabelle now, and they can actually be in the same game together. It's kind of adorable. But I'm pushing aside the main story. Sora from Kingdom Hearts is in Smash Brothers. I know Chad does not care at all.
It did nothing for me because I never played a Kingdom Hearts game.
Oh my gosh.
But at least
I was so happy.
Like Sadish has at least played Kingdom Hearts. I have never played Kingdom Hearts to this day. I still haven't, and I should, because it's like you said, I could get like all of them for like $20 on PlayStation Network.
Yeah, you can get the whole series for $20. It's kind of insane.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, this was a character I've wanted in Smash since they had those Smash fan votes back in like the Wii U.
Which is what they said. They ended up pulling it out that was the most requested Smash character, other than like
at that time
Cloud.
We could not release the results for fear of people bothering the publishers, but
yeah.
This was.
And didn't they say that it like the only reason it happened is because like they talked to somebody from Disney in like an elevator with like a Nintendo rep or something?
I heard about that. Yeah, I'm not sure if they actually said that or if that's more hearsay.
Yeah, but... I don't know. It's kind of funny though how that would work out when, I mean, they Nintendo-fied a Disney character, which is like, okay.
But yeah, that trailer was just like a swell of emotions. I was just like so happy when I heard that music, and oh my gosh. And I played a little bit as him. I didn't play too much. I'm not very good at him. He's very, very floaty. I was like, oh, this feels weird. But he does also feel like exactly like Sora should be. Just that whimsical, floaty kind of Peter Pan-esque jumping around, and oh my gosh. And I played mostly with him as single player and like was making up my own like little Nintendo Kingdom Hearts adventures. I was like, all right, Sora, you're gonna team up with Mario and the Mushroom Kingdom. You're gonna fight a whole bunch of piranha plants, and you also have Duck Hunt as a partner. That'll be your Donald and Goofy, and go. I was just like making up my own Nintendo Kingdom Hearts, and it was so much fun.
That's what they'll end up doing is like a spirit battle. It'll be like, you know, that stuff.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It made me very, very happy, and I'm so glad that they did that. That is all. Probably won't be my main character because I'm not very good at him, but I'm very happy he's in Smash Brothers. It's a perfect note to end that series on.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting, like what Nintendo will do with Smash Brothers from now on.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be a long time before we get a new Smash game now.
It's
Probably
gonna-
like 10 years, I'm guessing.
It's going to be very different too. Just in the sense of like,
Yeah.
like I don't think with the licensing and everything, I don't think they'll be
that's
able to just
never
like
gonna happen again.
straight port, everybody over. It's gonna be like
Yeah.
they're gonna like scale it back to like maybe
They're gonna have to like reboot it and redefine it just so it
Yeah.
can stand apart from this, because they will never be able to match that again.
Yeah, unless that's the plan, and now we're just gonna get more powerful Switch iterations as it goes on, backwards
There's a
compatible with all Switch games.
That is the only thing I could see is them doing like a deluxe version with like everything in one package with the DLC.
Yeah.
But
Well, what I'm getting at is that, like, if Nintendo releases, like, if everything's just the Switch, Nintendo Switch, then your older games will still work, and they'll just still sell that one copy of Smash forever.
I mean,
Like, because it's got
that's what
everything
they've
in it,
done with Mario Kart 8 for the past 9 years.
right? So
And that's why I think it will be like a decade before we see a new Smash game.
yeah. So, I mean, Mario Kart 8 got the luxury of, like, it had the Wii U. And,
True.
yeah, so,
I almost feel like Smash Wii U and Smash Ultimate is just like an expansion.
yeah.
They feel like the same game, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
With a little story mode sprinkled in.
Where's my target battle mode? I love that in Melee. The target challenges are so much fun.
Yeah. It is kind of bittersweet, but that's the end now. Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens. That's my biggest, like, want to know, I guess, is what happens next. But I really should play more Smash. I haven't played Smash.
You still need to finish just unlocking the characters.
I haven't unlocked everybody, and I haven't even played that game probably since, like, 2019.
Yeah.
So, it's been a while.
It's because we usually just play in person, and we haven't been in person in a while.
That is true. That is true. We used to play in person a lot, so.
Yeah.
But so you touched a little bit on the Animal Crossing update.
Yes, I can discuss a little bit more. I won't go into too much detail because I may or may not talk about it again towards the end of this podcast with our top 5 games of the year played spoiler. But so Animal Crossing had their final major free update, I believe is the wording. So
Yeah.
Maybe they'll have a few small, like, minor updates, but this is the last, like, big push that they're giving away for free. And that came out on November 5th, and it was a big update. It had Brewster's Cafe was the big one that everybody was clamoring for, so now you get your pigeon milk in your coffee in the museum. It's wonderful.
Did you just say pigeon milk in your coffee?
That is a fact, yes.
Okay.
Yes, if you want pigeon milk in that, and you say absolutely or ew, gross. And then if you say yes, I'll add a little pigeon milk, and you refreshing. Anyways, there's also gyro warriors, which are awesome. They actually look really cool in this version. They're like more tiny and customized now. There's like all types of shapes and colors. It's really cool. They make all sorts of weird sounds and like blow bubbles and weird effects. And Captain, the fishing captain, is back. He's a little kappa. Those little like Japanese mythical creatures with the water. And if you don't know, yeah. He takes you on Mystery Island tours, which is really cool. It's kind of cool. It's kind of very similar to like your normal island tours, but now you get like more special islands, which is fun. Actually, I saw one that was really cool today. My mom was playing, and all of a sudden it went from like daytime to nighttime, and she got to like a starry, like shooting star island. And then when she like hit the rocks on the island, little star bits were coming up in like rainbow colors. It actually looked pretty cool. I had never seen that. I was like, oh man. There's so much more. There's Harv Highland kind of expanded, so now there's a market, which I really liked, mainly because you can now like recruit Crazy Red onto that island, and now you have more chances to get paintings, so now I can like finish my museum because I have a few extra opportunities a week now to get what I'm looking for. They added farming, they added cooking, new KK songs. There's just like so much stuff, so I could go on, and that was all free. And then of course what we alluded to before was the Happy Home Paradise DLC, which is $25 if you don't have the expansion pass, or free with the expansion pass. And that lets you design vacation homes for your islanders, as well like learn new home design skills, like adding pillars and counters, and eventually if you get far enough you can redesign your islanders homes on your main island, which I'm really looking forward to because my island's kind of based off Windfall from Wind Waker, so I kind of want to redesign people's houses to look like the shops in Windfall, but we'll see if I get to that point eventually. But it was very successful in sucking me back in. Like, after putting 500 hours in that game, I did not think I would play any more of it, and yet I'm right back into it, and I'm enjoying every minute of it, so...
Yeah, I still haven't played a minute of that game.
You're not tempted even with your expansion pass now to dip your toe?
Nah, maybe if it came with it, like, you know what I mean? Like, if the expansion pack allowed me to just download it and play
the whole game? Oh
like,
my gosh.
yeah, I'm not gonna go buy that game. That's not gonna happen. But if it was, like, included fully with it, then maybe I'd play it for a little bit, but I don't know.
Gotcha.
It just doesn't...
But, yeah, that's all the new stuff. I mean, I'll stop there just because I might mention it a little more, but I won't try to talk too much about it then either, because you've already heard me talk a lot right now. So
yeah,
but that should cover all of our Nintendo news at least.
Yeah, for the most part, there's there hasn't really been that much. Everybody was really looking forward to the Game Awards for an announcement as like the final, announcement of the year, because really after Metroid Dread and the expansion pack, there was like nothing else on the plate, and we were kind of waiting to see what that final. Well, I guess like you had what was the other big game they had? Shin Megami Tensei was like the other. Like,
yeah, that was a big release in November.
They were pushing that a lot, but that's it. We haven't really had anything else. Like, Metroid Dread was the holiday game for Nintendo Switch this year.
It kind of ended up being that way, yeah.
Yeah, and I will say that it did kind of work out for him. I was at Walmart yesterday. I ran in to go get a gingerbread house because I slacked and didn't buy it. And I always go walk by the games, and I was sitting there, and some guy was in there on the phone, and he's like, "What's the game called? Dread?" And I was like, "Metroid Dread's right there, sir." And he's like, "Oh, I found it." Like, grabbed it. So people are asking for it, which is cool,
That is cool. It has, broken the streak of poorly selling Metroid games, and is now like the best-selling Metroid game, probably because of the Switch effect. But yeah.
Oh, it was a fantastic game. I mean, I know your take differs a little bit, but
it. Yeah.
But I mean, I loved it. I mean, it was also one of the first games of the year that I was able to kind of play and force myself to play and get into, and based on my gameplay record, it said I beat it in like 10 hours, 11 hours, but the Nintendo Switch like annual summary said that I played it for like 24 hours, which is kind of weird. So I don't know. So
I thought you died a lot or repeated sections a lot or something.
I did die a lot, and then I did go back to 100% it and get all the items and stuff. So who knows? 2021,
Yes.
just there was no Nintendo news.
Yes, they were very quiet, as in nothing.
Yeah. Absolutely nothing other
a few
than
sizzle reels, and that was it.
sizzle reels of like games that we already knew about.
Yeah.
And then even like, you know, Breath of the Wild 2 being called the sequel to Breath of the Wild still.
When I saw that sizzle reel and Zelda pop up, I was like, oh no. They're not going to show that trailer. They're not going to show anything.
They also, didn't they announce, since the last time we talked, wasn't Breath of the Wild 2 confirmed as a 2022, like a 2022 game? I think since the last
I think
podcast
they gave us
we had.
that date. And since then, they have been sticking to that date. They're like, it's coming out 2022. So
Yeah.
cross your fingers. It's coming.
Yeah, it'll be here. That was like the big pick in our fantasy league last year, and I think that'll be the
who will be bold enough to pick it or counter pick it.
Yeah. We all know how a Zelda release date has about as much merit.
But we also
as
know
nothing.
how sweet it will be when it does score.
Yeah.
It's
So
a big one.
So Game Awards had multiple trailers, you know, for a lot of mostly Sony and Xbox games. Even then, like, nothing really stood out from what I...
A lot of it seemed like just the same trailer after trailer. It was like shooting, aliens, just like, okay, next. All right, same again. And here's another weird sci-fi game. Okay.
I think
there were a few things.
the first thing they showed that we don't have here on the list that interests me was the Sonic 2 movie trailer.
Oh, that's right.
Definitely interested in seeing that. That was actually the last movie I saw in theaters before COVID-19 closed everything down. So me and Sadish actually went and saw that. So have you been to the movie since, Sadish, or was that still your last movie?
I don't remember because I think
because we saw that in like February or March. It was whenever it was the weekend it came out. So
yeah, I mean the two of us started seeing a lot of movies together. So I'm gonna say I think that may have been the last movie I saw before the whole lockdown happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got the trailer for that. That's coming out. That's next year, right? May, or was it May again? I don't remember when it was.
It's definitely next year though.
Yeah, I remember it was next year.
It's gonna be interesting with Idris Elba as Knuckles.
Yeah,
that's such a weird voice cast, but I can see it sort of because Idris Elba is actually a pretty funny guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not exactly 100% sure if his voice is that iconic. I mean, when he speaks, it's pretty iconic, but I don't know if he's going to be using any different accent or anything, or I'm not even sure if he's done any voiceover prior to it.
I haven't done any cartoons. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because like they showed like a lot of stuff in this trailer that you can like directly correlate to the games, like Sonic, you know, like on top of the airplane that Tails is flying and stuff like that.
Yeah, Chaos Emeralds.
And stuff like that, and like it's cool. It kind of threw me off because I'm sitting there thinking like that's the beginning of Sonic 3 when Sonic's standing on top of the plane and Tails is flying it, and
Sonic 2.
I'm like, it's Sonic 2, but you know, whatever. That's fine. It's a movie, but it's just that makes me laugh though. But I think it's cool though. Like, you know, they did a really good job with the first one. I think it was a lot of fun. I think this one will be an even bigger fan service just because of how well the first one did. You know, even the directors or whatever came out and said straight up like, you know, thank you for your feedback, we got the movie right, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. So
I saw a funny joke about like what Tails would have looked like if they had kept Sonic looking how he was, and it was like the hyper realistic fantastic Mr. Fox, just like with the eyes just I was just like That would look really weird.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that for sure. But then like the next big thing they showed was the new Sonic game that's coming out that is easily dubbed as Sonic Breath of the Wild.
Sonic
from the trailer. It looks so good.
It's called Sonic Frontiers, just for those wondering, but yes.
Like, just the fact that there's like structures in the game that stand out in the world that just, they're like half pipes that are like ruined with vines wrapped around them and just like
twisted kind of churning architecture. And
it just looks really
long bridges and just fields of flowers to run through. It just
and that's the whole thing of like, you know, Patrick and I have talked about this in the last couple weeks. Is just like Sonic games are always hindered by the fact that you run so fast you hit a wall, or you run so fast you can't see where you're at, and you know, just having
that's why I never liked Sonic games. It's just,
and that's kind of
so counterintuitive to the speed. What is the game?
And that's kind of the way I remember like Sonic Adventure being too, a little bit. I mean, it was definitely better as like the first 3D take. I mean, I love Sonic Adventure on Dreamcast. I haven't played it since '99 though. Like since 1999, I've never played it again. But I remember really, really enjoying it. But it did have, I do remember a couple of those issues where like the camera would like turn real quick and then Sonic turns and you're running the other way, and it just, you know, Sonic's not
that,
like
that
a
was his
fixed...
first attempt at 3D, right? That
yeah. I mean, Sonic Adventure was great. I mean, I like I said, I loved every minute of it. But having like a free open world, like if that's what this is, like based on what it's called, Sonic Frontiers is the name. As we didn't say that, but it looks really
captured
cool.
Like so many shots that were like Breath of the Wild-ish, and just like the music even, and just oh my gosh,
it had that like cell shaded look to it too. It was like every game's like starting to do that.
And then the trailer ended with a like giant behemoth that he was about to like obviously like have to run up and attack and stuff, and just
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more about that and deciding on if that's, you know, something worth grabbing, or maybe it comes to Game Pass. We'll see.
Yeah, that was definitely the coolest trailer to me of the whole award show.
Yeah, and that was one of the first too. It was like one of the earlier things they showed.
Yeah, it was pretty early.
And then they finally showed us more of the Cuphead Delicious Last Course, aka DLC, getting a release date of June, and I actually forgot about that DLC until like we were watching. I kind of
did forget a little. Like it was in the back of my mind, but I was like, oh yeah.
Did you end up buying Cuphead?
Oh yeah, on Switch.
You did? Okay. Did you end up beating it again?
And I did beat it.
You did beat it again on Switch?
I played it on solo on Switch because you and me played it co-op on
Xbox. Yeah, because I was gonna say, I wasn't sure if you beat it or not, so I was gonna say that, you know, we definitely, regardless, we definitely have to try to do the DLC together.
Yeah.
Because I definitely...
You and me will do the co-op, and I'll probably buy it still on the Switch just to play by myself.
I definitely feel like... Because I bought it on Switch too, and played it solo, but I definitely feel like the DLC is more difficult. Or not DLC, jeez. The solo play. The solo play is more difficult. Sorry, easier than co-op. Co-op's definitely harder from the way it felt.
Yeah. Co-op just has more chaos on the screen.
Yeah.
Like, even though you can like save each other from dying, it's just like, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I remember there was times where you came over and we spent like an hour and a half and beat like one boss. And it was like, oh my god.
I feel like they might also give the bosses more help because there's two of you or something. I don't know.
There's definitely some sort of like balancing that goes on. Yeah. So, Sidish, have you played Cuphead at all?
I have not.
Oh my god, it's so good.
You need to get Sidish
no
action.
I've never been a fan of the bullet hell genre.
Yeah.
Even like in the old, I played some Sega Genesis games that were like that. I can't keep track. I've watched Patrick play some of these bullet hell games, and I just don't understand Well, I've watched both of you play those bullet hell games, and I just don't understand at all how you do it. To me, it's just like it's just noise. That's all I see, just noise.
It's just
like,
it's
what
just
the
trying to
hell-
steal my quarter. That's all it's doing. It wants to get paid.
I definitely do have some capacity depending on how much bullet hell, but Cuphead, I fight through it because it's so gorgeous.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like that art style, it's just so unique, and they did
Yeah.
such a good job with it. I mean,
Like, I don't even get mad if I die because it's like a giant ton of the moon shooting lasers. I'm just laughing. And I'm like, okay, this is amazing.
Like, I think the best is when you like think you're doing better, and then like you get to like that second phase of the boss, and it just like completely destroys you, and you're like, what? Didn't even expect it. Like it just like the person just turns into like a big buzzsaw and kills you, and you're like, what? Like, how did that like?
So that R&B boss.
Yeah, that B boss was our crux for like weeks.
Any vertical boss just sucks.
Yeah.
Vertical stages are the worst.
Yeah, it was rough. So, but you know, definitely looking forward to that coming out because more Cuphead is definitely wanted. So, fantastic game.
Definitely. And they spent a lot. It seemed like on that trailer. It was a big budget trailer with like all the little claymation kind of styles.
No, yeah, it was almost like it was like marionettes or whatever. Like
little doll puppet. Yeah. It reminded me of like old Christmas specials or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of style.
And then they had the people singing like they were in the 30s with like the microphones that were like time. You know, they looked like they were part of that time period, and all the girls were wearing like dresses and like headdresses and stuff out there dancing. Like you totally.
That was fun.
What'd you say, Sidish?
They're flappers.
Oh, okay. Is that the term?
That is the term.
Okay. This is why we have you here.
From the 1920s.
Okay. Yeah.
Speaking of why we have Sadish here, there are some games that he'll probably want to talk about.
There isn't that much.
So now that we're out of the Nintendo section, Sadish is here to shine.
Those two were technically third party. So.
It's true.
How old are the games?
So there was a Star Trek Telltale game. I forget the exact name.
Yes,
of it.
Star Trek Resurgence.
Resurgence, yeah.
Yeah. So it's being developed by. It's not actually a Telltale apparently.
I think
it's being developed by former Telltale Games people. Called
like
Dramatic Labs, but it's still a. It's still what are the Telltale
like point and click adventure stuff?
Yeah, it's still like a story. Right.
Yeah.
It's a third-person, choice-driven adventure game.
Those games where your characters remember your choices, what you do.
Yeah. What's interesting is that it's its own original story. Although we did see
it's reusing.
We saw Spock.
Like Spock, yeah.
Yeah, we saw Spock, which, sadly enough, is not the same without
Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, Leonard Nimoy voicing him. It just does not sound right. But it apparently set right after the Next Generation.
Definitely seems like a good fit for the Telltale format. A Star Trek.
Yeah. Apparently, it's about "quote unquote" unraveling a sinister mystery involving two alien civilizations on the brink of war.
So Star Trek.
Yeah.
I don't even.
It's interesting though because with all the new Star Trek stuff that's out on Paramount Plus, it's crazy to see how large their lore is. Because all we've known about is just the primary Star Trek universe is Kirk, Picard, all that stuff. But that'll be interesting. And I know Patrick is interested because he's a fan of the Telltale series of games.
All Telltale games, yeah.
Yeah.
Some definitely more than others, but they're all great. I think.
I have the Wolf Among Us
That's probably my favorite.
from one of the PlayStation Plus monthly games.
Nice.
I've been meaning to, and The Walking Dead, and the Batman.
I heard those are really
Oh,
good.
so good. Oh, good.
So yeah, I really need to start like chipping into those.
I was always interested in the Back to the Future ones that they did.
I forgot
Did they? Oh yeah, they did do that.
Yeah, I never did that, and I love Back to the Future. Like that's like one of my. I went to put that movie on to go to sleep, like while it was on in the background, and next thing you know, it was like 2 a.m. because I watched the whole movie. I love it. So it's right up my alley to play that game. But didn't they like fire a bunch of people or shut down or something like a few years ago?
Yeah, a while back. It's only recently, like I think it was 2 years ago, that they were kind of announced to be coming back, like being restructured and getting some of their staff back, but they're like kind of reorganizing how they do things, like working with other companies so they don't make the same mistakes again.
Yeah, there was something. I remember they kind of got canceled.
They went way too hard on like licensing before, and like
they pushed the developers not being able to pay people and stuff.
Bad work ethics. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, okay.
There's a whole bunch of stuff about that. Yeah.
I kind of forgot about that when we were talking.
Which was really sad because we were like, oh, we'll never get the end of A Wolf Among Us or Walking Dead, and we're like, oh, what's gonna happen? But
but on account of that, they also announced a new game based on The Expanse, like an actual Telltale game. Yeah.
Yeah. So another another sci-fi one. But...
Yeah. It's one of the space opera shows that really hit it off.
I will say the new engine looks really nice too that they're using. Much better than what the old Telltale games used to be.
Well, all the previous Telltale games used like a cell shaded kind of engine, right?
Yeah, which it worked for certain games better than the others. Like A Wolf Among Us and Walking Dead, that style fit really nicely because they're kind of graphic novel based anyways.
Yeah, the Expanse one looked a little bit more like a normal kind of 3D engine. Not as stylized.
Yeah.
So, which makes sense considering the subject matter of the show, which is definitely a lot more serious. What was the other game? Star Wars Eclipse.
That's right, Star Wars Eclipse. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be weird. It's set during the Old Republic.
Which is what we thought it was the whole time during that trailer.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
So this is prior to Order 66.
Mm-hmm.
And the Empire. They did show Yoda in the Jedi Council.
I need to rewatch that.
So my guess is it's going to be on Coruscant. But yeah, the fact that it's Quantic Dream is super weird.
Yeah.
If you don't know, Quantic Dream did
Heavy Rain.
Beyond
Two Souls.
Yep.
And the most recent one was Detroit Become Human.
So very, again, much
These
like
are
Telltale, choice-driven, third-person kind of games.
Very branching narrative, kind of
very story-heavy,
and very very highly like cinematic kind. Not cinematic so much as in like you don't get to interact, but just like very polished.
It's not very action-oriented.
Yeah.
In a sense. You're definitely there to live in that world and make choices in that world, which is very different
from Star Wars.
I'd say majority of all Star Wars games. I mean, right now I'm playing through Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and boy, that's all about action and platforming and actiony stuff. But yeah, originally we did think it was going to be Knights of the Old Republic, just because of it looked like the Old Republic, and there was so much talk about it being remastered.
Mhm. It looks like they got lots
Yeah,
of Star
there's
Wars
not-
stuff
yeah.
in the works. Yeah.
Uh, and I guess the next thing, this is a personal one for me.
Go ahead. You can
Witch
mention
Queen,
it.
the next expansion for Destiny 2. Oh man, been waiting a long time for this.
Apparently,
It's been
we
6
looked it
months.
up. There's been no expansions this year for Destiny, just like
It's-
season.
Yeah, it's just
stuff.
been season stuff, and it's been 6 months without any new content. Well, any new story-based content outside of the season, content updates, which are just minor, seasonal activities here and there. But
So you're ready.
but the Witch Queen gonna continue the story. The Witch Queen, as if anybody cares, is Savathun, the
yeah.
third sister of not Crota.
This guy.
Yeah. Oryx.
Did you, real quick, when does that come out?
February.
Okay, so we will not see Sadish starting February. Because he has his Destiny.
Episode or two.
He has his Destiny crew that he hangs out with before we can lure him into Discord for our needs.
Raids take precedence.
Yeah. I've been on a Destiny cleanse for the past
A hiatus.
2 months. Yeah, hiatus, just because you got tired. Everybody's got tired of it. It's the same thing over and over again, which it's a looter shooter. What do you expect?
That's what happened
what
to
I mean?
me until what was it? It was the Something King expansion for the first Destiny.
Taken King.
The Taken
Yeah.
King, I think, is when I stopped playing Destiny.
Which is Oryx,
Okay.
which is the sister. Well, technically brother. Well, they were originally sisters, but now they're Savathun's is still a sister, and Oryx was a brother. But anyway, Taken King was Oryx, who was Savathun's
Yeah, I think it
brother,
was
sister.
I think it was because I bought the expansion, had fun with it, and then it was like, hey, a new expansion, and I was like, oh my god, I don't want to pay for this game anymore. Like, make it stop. And then
you need a fire team. That's the thing with Destiny. Once you find yourself a fire team.
No, I get that, and I had that. I mean, there was a point where I was basically like at 8 o'clock at night, I was getting on Destiny, and we were running raids and stuff from 8 o'clock until 1 o'clock, weeknights every night. And
I
don't think you ever ran a raid, dude.
No, dude, I did. We used to do this stuff constantly. I played hours of Destiny 1 on Xbox. Hours. And it was just it got to the point where I was just exhausted constantly because I was staying up late, and I didn't want it because you sign online and I'd see the fire team was full, and it was yeah, and then we'd jump in and start doing all the different raids and stuff, and it was fun. Don't get me wrong, I had a lot of fun doing it, but after a while it's just I'm done. And then I got excited for Destiny 2 because it was on PC. That was the whole reason I bought my 1080 Ti, and then I got it and I never played it, and then now it's free on everything, so it's kind of whatever, but at least I can still jump in and play some of it. I know me and you, we played a couple months ago, we played just a little bit, jumping around the main world, which I told you immediately that I've already played this before, and that was because you said they compressed Destiny 1 into its own little area.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I definitely had fun with it, but it just felt so weird going back to it after not playing it forever. And other than now that I have a PlayStation, and you were playing on a PlayStation, I'm definitely down to jump in every now and then, but I don't think I could ever get back into doing what I used to with that game. Playing it for 4 or 5 hours a night in the middle of the week, especially with kids now. It's not happening.
Unfortunately, yeah, it does not support. It takes commitment.
But yeah,
think-
I'm looking forward to it.
Mhm.
Cool, man.
All the new stuff and new content, and just to get the gang back together.
Yeah. I mean that's really what it comes down to. Like it was always just like, hey guys, what's up? As soon as we jumped in, and you guys start joking around with each other, and it just becomes,
I remember just spending
friends.
hours at that Destiny 1 hub and hopping on that tree and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Played the main game.
That's true. Trying to jump up on all the tents and see if you could push somebody off the edge of the tower. Or just go up and start serving people. That's what I love to do. Just go up to them and start pointing at them, and then start breaking out dance moves and see if they dance back. Or if like other people were having meetings, I'd walk up next to them and just stand there, and they'd look at me and like, "What are you doing?" And I'd point, and I'd dance right in the middle of their circle. I got a lot. Like we used to just do that for fun, and that was towards the end, because it was like, what else are we gonna do in this game? Like I already have the best guns. I already have we've already beat all the raids, so let's just start messing with people.
Yeah.
I never got into PvP or anything, so. But that's cool.
And, yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty much the Game Awards, at least from the view of these three jokers. But I guess like one thing we don't have on here real quick, if you wanna get into it, was they had the Indie World Direct.
Yeah, it was pretty recent.
About a week ago.
Yeah.
Just one, like I guess there's two things that stood out, and that was
Go ahead.
what was that? The Seas of what was that game called? It was the Chrono Trigger Star of Seas, Seas of Stars, something like that.
I'll double check real quick.
That looks cool. Music composed from the composer of Chrono Trigger. It's like a spiritual successor of Chrono Trigger, which is cool. The last one we had was I Am Setsuna, which I was really stoked to play, but then everybody said it's Sea of Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thought that looked really cool, and it's from the makers of The Messenger.
Yeah, I did not realize that. Yeah, it's supposed to be a prequel to The Messenger.
Yeah, so The Messenger is awesome, and the dialogue in that game is fantastic. So if they're doing an all-out RPG, like I could see a lot of very good dialogue coming out of this game. I love that. That Messenger's so good.
That game looked gorgeous. I will agree, and I'd heard about it before because it was a Kickstarter project. So, but it's cool to see like progress of it. It looks great. I can't wait for that one.
So looking forward to that, and then I'm also looking forward to, since you're talking about adventure games, point and click, like Telltale games, I'm looking forward to Locomotive, which is like a traditional Lucas Arts style point and click adventure. Takes place on a train, trying to solve a mystery, like murder mystery stuff. Like it's right up my alley. I'm in. I'm in for that one. So, just wanted to mention those two games real quick, since that's something.
If I were to give one
recent.
shout out in that Indie Direct, I will real quick shout out to Chicory, A Colorful Tale. It deserved way more than just a sizzle reel. I don't know. I guess they couldn't afford a spotlight in that Indie Direct, but apparently that's been many people's favorite game of the year on many people's list. It came out earlier back in June on, I think, PlayStation and PC. So to see that come to Switch, I was very excited. I will very much be picking that up in the near future. So unfortunately, that means it did not make my top games of the year list because I did not get a chance to play it yet. But it will get a wish list honorable mention here.
being said, we're an hour and 10 minutes into this recording, which isn't too bad. So, top 5 games, 2021.
Ready?
Are we ready?
Right. Should we start with any honorable mentions if you had too many games, or are you good?
We can if you have something. I mean, like, I'll just state it right here.
I know some of us just had a few, maybe. We can limit it to 1 or 2 if you don't have many, though.
Yeah, myself didn't really have a lot of opportunity to game this year. And the way we do this is not like best games of the year per se. It could just be it's just the best games we've played that came out this year.
We've played this year, so it could have come out in the previous year. It could be a really old game, but
yeah, just something that
we played this year.
Something that we've never played until this year is how I'm looking at it, at least for my list. And really, for me, I guess like we'll talk about some of my games that I didn't pick, and your guys' picks. So no, I think I'm good, but you guys go ahead if you have anything.
Honestly, most of my honorable mentions are probably on your list as well. Being games like I know Chad's very high on this, but Metroid Dread. I had a lot of fun with it, but it did not make my top 5. But it is a very good Metroid game. Like, the boss fights in that game are phenomenal. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun to play from start to finish. And then I must have been on a Metroid kick this year because Castlevania Symphony of the Night was also a great game. I loved the world building of that game, and like it just had a great sense of humor. So that was a great game. And the only other shout out I'd give, because I've also really enjoyed co-op games this year, Operation Tango was a lot of fun, which I played with Sadish, and
we have to play the DLC.
Oh, we need to play the DLC, definitely.
Yeah.
I think that will actually be a lot of fun, because not that the game wasn't challenging, but it kind of, once you played a level once, you kind of knew what to do. It kind of took out the surprise of it, but playing those levels the first time was so much fun. Like, it definitely is a game if you like co-op games to play with someone. So,
and it's asymmetric gameplay. So
the fact that you have like
you can
manage
the role. Yeah. And it's like a totally different game.
And it's a game that required a lot of communication, which is great for a co-op game.
It's also great for those whenever you guys get into an argument. And then you swap, and then that person experiences that same frustration, and then you're like, see, I told you.
Yeah, but I won't drag on too many of these games because I'm pretty sure both these people are going to be mentioning them. So, but those are my honorable mentions.
That sounds funny because that just sounds like Portal 2 when I'm like, I can't do it. What do you mean you can't do it? Come over here and do it. You go back to their side, like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Portal 2.
Portal 2 is awesome. I wish
about it.
I wish we could play those games like the 3 of us. Like, I wish there was a 3-player like mod or something. That'd be awesome. But
so we're doing honorable mentions, right?
A few honorable mentions if you have any. I think you have a few.
So I think so a game that I just recently quote unquote finished. It's a looter shooter also. Outriders. That's initially it did not interest me at all. Again, looked like another Destiny clone, or Borderlands kind of clone. Everybody's like another, Destiny killer and whatnot. But anyway, I played it recently because it was for sale for really cheap.
Wasn't it like one of the free games on PS Plus or?
No, it wasn't free. I paid for it.
Okay.
Man.
And for what it was, it should not have as good a story as it did. Now, I don't know if it's because I'm coming from Destiny's storyline for a looter shooter, but yeah, its story captivated me for a long time, and it really surprised me. The end of it for me felt lacking, but I mean,
We'll have some lacking endings in our list, but continue.
I think that was more for me because I was expecting it to be to provide itself with a satisfactory ending for what it was. But I mean, after speaking to my friends who also were playing it, they had certain points that they made about the ending, which I can understand. I'm really trying not to spoil anything here or give away of how the ending happens or what happens there. But yeah, surprisingly for a looter shooter, it had a very good story. I was not expecting for what it to happen like just halfway through it. Like it just like flipped. It was like, what the hell just happened? Kind of plot. Yeah. So that was one honorable mention. Another one was Into the Breach, which is a tactical roguelite by the makers of FTL.
Yeah, everybody that game's highly regarded for tactical.
That game is like pure game design.
Yes.
Just like, yeah.
It is. If you've played FTL, it first off, it is nothing like FTL. This is a tactical game where you have your mechs, you have your 3 mechs, each doing its own special kind of attack, and you have to move them around a grid, and they have their own specific types of moves and whatnot, and it is turn-based. So
you're killing me.
Strategic. It is tactical. it's very fun.
The unique part about it is the fact that they convey the enemy's moves. They tell you exactly what the enemies are about to do.
Right. So you have to plan out exactly what you're doing, and you can move your enemies around based on your attacks, or just attack them straight out. Mm-hmm. It definitely makes you think about how you want to use your mechs, whether you want your mechs to actually just take the damage instead of having the damage befall the city, which could cause issues down the line.
Things, like how you can make them work together or make the enemies even work against each other, like have an enemy attack an enemy.
You can move your enemies around based on the attacks that you have. It's very fun. The music is amazing. The composer they have, the makers of FTL and Into the Breach.
We're giving some high praise for just honorable mentions here.
Even FTL's soundtrack is amazing. I don't know if I know Patrick very much enjoyed Into the Breach's soundtrack.
One of the songs made it onto my holiday ambience 2021 this year. So
I have to get Patrick to listen to the FTL soundtrack as well.
Yeah, I should.
And I guess just to keep it short, the last honorable mention I have is Gartic Phone. Because it's a remember, Patrick? It's basically.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's telephone, but with drawings.
Oh, the web thing that we played that a couple times. I think, right? Yeah.
For a free
this is like the
online game.
Illustrations, the board.
Yeah,
game.
For a free online game, it is a lot of fun. Just for for your lockdown friends to just hang out on Discord and just to goof off.
For a free version, it was very efficient, capable. It did its job.
Yeah, we got
Illustrations is like one of my top party games I would recommend to anybody. Like for real.
Yeah, we should definitely get back into some of those games. We kind of at the beginning of lockdown stuff, we all got real hard into that. It was every Friday, Saturday night we were on Discord playing those games. I mean,
I'm down to start that again.
They got old after a while, but I mean, it's been a long time. And
winter's a good time for that. So
yeah,
we really should start that back up.
Yeah, for sure. So maybe we can get something going. I don't know what we've got going on at the moment for New Year's, but we did play some. I think the last time we all joined up together was we played Among Us on New Year's,
I think so,
and then watched the Animal Crossing ball drop.
That's right.
So I don't know what we got going on, but yeah, maybe we can get something going.
All right, so now we can go on to the actual top 5 games we played this year. Who wants to start?
So how do you want to do this? You want to just do number 5s? We just do all our 5s across
each do one number 5, and then each do a number 4.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, you want to take it away?
All right. My number 5 game I played this year, which hopefully I won't talk too long about it because you already talked to me a little bit about it, but surprisingly it was Animal Crossing New Happy Home Paradise. Because I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did, but I really did find something very therapeutic and zen-like just designing homes. I feel so relaxed about it. I get like so engaged putting all the details in, and then seeing the end result is so satisfying as they do their slow pan shots and they're like, ooh, look at your wonderful home you just made.
Is that your pirate ship house, or was that something different?
Oh, my pirate ship was from the whole past year, like playing that game. Yeah. Which is amazing, don't get me wrong.
It's pretty awesome, not gonna lie.
But I will say about Happy Home Paradise I really like is the ease of the tools they give to make these homes now. Like, they give you access to all these furniture, and you can just like pick and place, and you don't have to worry about like buying or owning it. It's just like, go ahead, have fun, go all out, whatever. And it's actually designed really well to like not be overwhelming. Like, they give you a little bit at a time, introducing new skills and new ways to decorate, and there's a lot to it. Like, I'm still discovering. I'm very early into it compared to what my sister and my mom, they went way hard. My mom's already built like 100 vacation homes. I'm like, my gosh. But I'm like 15 houses in, but yeah. And they actually have little cute story moments too. Like, there's this manatee that like sells furniture to you. He's like very quiet, and then like as you get into the game, he like starts talking to you to more and talks to you about like nature and stuff, and you like sit on a log by the ocean and just talk to each other as you stare at the ocean waves, and it was like really sweet. I did not expect that. So yeah, I think if you play it too hard, it might get a little annoying, like the themes might start to repeat, but if you kind of pace yourself out, I find it's been very just chill and just happy, and I've been having a lot of fun with that. So I think it's going to definitely get my buck worth for this expansion pass. Like, I'm enjoying it a lot. I think I've already put in 100 hours back into Animal Crossing, so
nice.
Good job, Happy Home Paradise. I did not think I would like an interior decorating game just solely based off that, but I do. It's fun. You got me.
That's funny. All right, so I'll go next, I guess. Patrick and I just played this game. We played It Takes Two, which was your Game Award Game of the Year for 2021.
That was the surprise winner.
That was the surprise winner. I guess we should have talked about that in the last segment. We didn't talk about the winners.
I guess a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but
okay.
yeah, it's all good. So
they can watch our reactions if they need that.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we ran through this. Took a little longer. I guess it took us 2 weeks, just because my schedule, I was a little busy at some points.
Yeah.
But it was pretty short. I mean, we did it in like 3 sessions, I think, 3 or 4 sessions. We sat down and knocked it out. But co-op game. You have to play it co-op. There's no like way out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're like sharing controllers.
2 people.
Yeah. A lot of fun. Did not expect to like the game as much as I did. Patrick and I just kind of got into it and loved every minute of it for the most part. There's a lot of humor in the game.
I was laughing a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, we were all laughing. Like both of us were laughing really hard at a few scenes in the game. One scene in particular, which we don't want to spoil because it's just so good, and Sidish hasn't played it yet.
Yeah, I really, it's hard not to say it because it's so good. But yeah, we'll keep it. Let's just say we kept referencing that scene the rest of the game. You're like, remember that time?
Yeah. It was a fun game. It was never like, there was definitely like some frustration sometimes, but it was like, but it wasn't like, I'm trying to think how to say this. Like it wasn't.
It was very forgiving.
It was very forgiving, exactly. Like you die, you respawn pretty close to where you died. Most of the frustration was more of like towards the end of the game. Some of the enemies were a little more like difficult to fight, or they were just like enemy spawning, like just coming in waves, and it was hard to kind of dodge the attacks and stuff. But
although part of that could be at times we forgot the dodge button. But
yeah, I did that a lot too. But the game was just like, it was very casual. It was very chill. And I just loved every minute of the gameplay. There's mini games throughout the game that Patrick was just completely destroying me in until
at least for the first half of the game.
About the first half of the game, I don't think I won one mini game, and we found 16 of the how many? 25.
I think there are 25 mini games.
Yeah, so we found about 16 of them, I think, and I'd say towards the end I started winning most of them. But I think the big loser for me was chess. I just gave up immediately because I hate chess.
I programmed the real version of chess.
Yeah, chess is, and they like force you to actually make the move. You can't just like set yourself up to fail. They like force you to avoid the. They force you to avoid the.
How not to lose. You're like, no, I want to lose.
I was like, I want to lose. I don't want to play this anymore. But now It Takes Two was really, really fun. If you like co-op games, it's a absolute play. And like I said, like we just had a lot of fun too, like commenting like the story is about two parents that are getting divorced, and they show you in the trailer like the little girl basically trying to get them to stay together. But throughout the game there's cutscenes to the little girl, and like it's pretty absurd. Once you play it, you'll kind of realize it. But yeah, Patrick and I were.
What are you doing? Come on.
Yeah, it's like, come on, girl, you're old enough to know better. Like, what are you doing? Like, we're just like making up dialogue for her, so it was pretty funny. But no, I had a lot of fun playing that, and like I said, like I didn't get a lot of chance to play a lot of games this year, so this definitely was very enjoyable for as casual as it was. It probably took about 10 hours, maybe, if that. And yeah, that's why it makes my list at the bottom. But still worth playing. A lot of fun. Probably could have put it a little higher, honestly. But the ending was a little meh to me.
Yeah, a little safe.
Yeah, very safe, kind of expected.
For as crazy as the game was, the ending was just like, oh,
yeah,
I guess you really were just going for that the whole time.
Yeah, so it's definitely worth playing though, for sure. I could see, like, yeah, if you like co-op games, definitely play it. Yeah, just good.
Yeah.
A lot of fun 2-player puzzles. You have to collaborate together to make things.
Collaboration.
So it definitely does a great job as far as making you play together, because it takes two.
Yes.
So, Sidish,
give us your number 5.
Oh, an order? I have no order of these.
Okay, well then just pick a
yeah,
number
I'm just gonna go from the list I have.
Give us a game.
Yeah, I guess I'll start with Tabletop Simulator.
All right.
Yeah, another co-op game, if you choose to.
If you choose to play co-op board games.
Yeah. Patrick and I have been playing that almost every time we're together online and Chad's not available.
And honestly, guys, after watching you play that button game the other night, I kind of want in on this because
Yeah.
honestly, I want to play that game with you guys. It looked fun.
I think it was called Patchwork.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
one that we
Yeah.
played, yeah.
yeah. That looked fun.
Um,
After I watched you guys and kind of figured out what was going on.
Yeah. That was actually our first playthrough of that game.
Yeah, we were
But-
learning it that
yeah.
night, so.
Yeah, we were learning. But one of the primary, I'd say, staples would be Splendor, which Patrick actually has now, right?
I did actually buy that after. You know, that's the kind of nice thing about Tabletop Simulator. I kind of view it almost like as a demo tool for board games, and if I
Yeah.
like it enough, I will go out and buy it.
Yeah. It's the workshop has a lot of games in it. So you can download whichever ones you want. Yeah. And another game that Patrick and I actually played quite a bit was Castle Wars.
Oh yeah,
That's
Castle
a fun
Wars.
game. That is definitely not.
It's so dumb, but
It's
it's,
so
like
dumb.
fun.
It's random.
It's so luck based.
Yes, it is very luck based.
Which one was
And,
this? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention for a second.
Castle Wars.
Okay, Castle. Yeah, I watched you guys play that.
You might have seen that one.
Yeah.
Their little castles and like
Hilarious.
battering rams that go across, and you knocked down my wall, you jerk.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I remember
And
watching
we
you
get to
guys do
steal
it.
each other's resources
Yeah.
and like set up. Oh, because you know when a player hasn't made any major moves for a while that they're stocking up.
What are you
They're-
doing?
Yeah,
What are you
exactly. There's a stress there because you're like, what are you doing? You're gearing up for some major attack. So usually like, I know Patrick does this. So I'll try to like steal his resources or like hinder him somehow. Ugh. Yeah, Tabletop Simulator is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just because of the wide variety of games you can play on it.
And the fact
And,
that you can do it online.
Yeah, and if you have VR, you could, it's
Oh, that's right.
playable on VR also.
Can I join you guys in VR?
Yeah, I don't see why
Imagine
not.
so. Yeah.
Oh man, I might have to do that then.
Yeah.
Because then I can flip the table. Like fuck this game. I'm out.
Interestingly enough, I downloaded some games that are just one player, and oh my god, they're so complicated looking that I don't think so.
That's cool. No, I'm honestly considering getting that game because I do watch you guys play from time to time, and it
Actually, it might be
looks-
on sale
so
for
simple,
holidays
so-
right now.
Yeah.
Just check.
You guys have it on Steam?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll take a look at it. I'll check it right now while Patrick jumps to his number 4 if Siddish is done.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good. Definitely get Tabletop Simulator if you have friends to play with.
Yes. It's definitely for social aspects. Yeah. All right. So what is my number 4? Let me just.
That's
Actually,
all-
I'm not gonna go too long on number 4 because coincidentally enough, it's Take Two. It Takes Two is my number 4 pick.
Yeah.
I guess the only things I'll add is just like that game was such a delight and like how it continually surprised me every step of the way. It was just like this is so weird and different, and it kept me hooked. Just like weirdness and just new mechanics and just weird story moments. Just it was so original.
That's the
And
thing
that was-
about that's why I think that game won Game of the Year, because it was super original. It had like you were basically playing every genre of game. Like the genre
Yeah.
changed every like section you were in.
And no idea outstayed its welcome. And they like
Yeah.
explored an idea just as much as they could get the fun out of it, and they're like, all right, next.
Yeah.
All right, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, that was like, I think that was like one of the biggest hooks of the game. That was like, all right, this is a lot of fun, because outside of like your run and your dash and like your swing, like everything else was unique. Like every area you had a different weapon or power up that was used for that environment. And yeah, it was really well done, and that's what made the, 'cause, like, this part of the story was like crazy, like the whole it's just it's so fun, but that's what made the ending so
Yeah.
disappointing for me, which is why, like, again, I didn't play many games this year, but that's why I put it at the bottom of my list, because it was just kind of like, oh, that's it, really? Like, I was expecting something as crazy as it was to be.
And that's why it's only my number 4 as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really, really fun co-op game, really imaginative.
Yeah.
Disappointing narrative, especially the ending.
Yeah.
But as disappointing as it was, I will say the writing was a lot of fun. Like,
yeah,
it was
for sure.
Good humor, made me laugh.
Yeah.
It just. I don't think it will have a lasting impression on me because of the ending.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But I mean, gameplay. It's definitely a game that like you should play. You should play through it once. Playing. It's definitely worth playing once. I don't think I'd play it again, except for the fact that each character has its own power up. That's what Patrick and I were saying.
Yeah.
We could
be
play
fun to switch it up like that.
Yeah, because the one person might be in charge of just like moving a platform while the other person's doing all the action aspects of it. So like you switch it around and see what it's like.
I'd be willing to pay with you some dish if you want. I'll just play as the character I did not play for me and Chad play through.
Yeah, you guys should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys should definitely do that because it's a lot of fun.
But that is my number 4 pick. You don't need to repeat too much on that.
Yeah. So my number 4 pick was one of Patrick's honorable mentions, and that would be Castlevania Symphony of the Night. This is a game that I have owned for years on PlayStation 1. I've tried playing it on PlayStation 1. I think I got somewhere I wasn't really supposed to get to too fast, didn't save and died, and lost about an hour of my gameplay, and that included a lot of like
loads you back at the beginning. You're like,
yeah, I was back at the beginning, and I was playing on an original PS1 with load times, and it was just like, I'm not playing this anymore. So never played it until Patrick informed me that it was on sale on PSN for $10 with Rondo of Blood. So grabbed that, and after I finished Metroid Dread, I was still in the mood for some adventuring and jumped right into that. And I will say that it frustrated the hell out of me. There was definitely some points where I was like, I can't do this. I'm never going to get past this. Or it felt very unbalanced as far as like, the hit points. I'd have 400 health, but then something would hit me and take away 100. So I'm like really 4 hits away from dying. And that was really frustrating. And like the inventory is really frustrating when you're trying to get potions. You have to like equip it to your left or right hand so you can use it based on your button. And then you've got like, armor and stuff. It's just weird for me for Castlevania because I've always just played like Castlevania 1 through 3 on the NES.
Or the acting ones.
Yeah, so it makes you think a little more, but you do, you get your stats and you get different like boosts and stuff for different armor. But here's the thing, as frustrated and as annoying as I was, I kept going back and I wanted to play more. It basically became like my daily routine every night. Just as soon as I'm done with taking care of the kids, doing all that stuff, it was Symphony of the Night. I'm playing it, and I would play it till like midnight every night. And I was like determined to beat this game finally because I've heard so much about it being like this amazing game, and how it's like. The Metroidvania, it is the definitive edition for it. So,
came from. Yeah.
So I still personally think Super Metroid's a better game.
Yes.
But I enjoyed,
You grew to like this one.
I really did. I had a lot of fun with it. I think finding this, like making sure I found a save point before venturing too far was like the key to the game. Because there was definitely times where like it wasn't even that like I found it and didn't know what it was, because when you walk into the save point, it's just like a spinning globe of like a ball of paper. You don't even know what it is. But it wasn't even like I walked in and saw that and didn't know what it was. It was literally like that first time I played it, I just happened to never find one. Yeah.
Although it was only like 20 minutes of gameplay, but still, I was like, I must have avoided at least 4 or 5 save rooms just by sheer chance, and then got to a boss room and died. I was like, well, that sucks.
Yeah, that's what happened to me, and I think that only happened a handful of times for me during this playthrough. But I was pretty good about making sure, like, if I went left and it was just a straight hallway, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go right, and then I'd go right, and then it was like, oh, save point, sweet, and then
that became a key strategy.
Yeah, and then like, once you start filling out your map, and then like, I didn't even know the game had like warp zones and stuff like that.
You grow like very intimate with that castle. I don't know. I felt like by the time I was done with it, I was like, I know this. This is my castle.
Yeah, and like being able to like, once the castle inverts like halfway through the game, it was like, it definitely, that second half went so much faster because you kind of know where things are. Even though things unlock, as a Metroidvania game does, you power up, it lets you progress and stuff like that, but no,
I like how you get to that point too, just like finding the rings and like unlocking the secrets that gets to that point. I don't know, it reminded me a lot of like this getting to the secret boss of Hollow Knight, like all these weird little things that you have to explore and find just to get to that point.
No, it was awesome though. I mean, I definitely was like, I was expecting the final boss to be a lot, I guess I was expecting it to be more difficult, but I also learned about the shield rod and doing that, so that kind of like destroyed it. But I was happy, I was fine with that, because I don't need a game that's gonna just destroy me at the boss anymore. Like, I had enough of that.
You had your fun. You were ready to finish.
Yeah, I was ready to finish after exploring it, but no, I loved everything. I tried to explore every inch of the castle that it would let me. I think I finished it with like 200. I think it's 204 or 6% is like the actual overall like 100%, and I think I was at like 197 or 198.
That's quite a lot.
So there's still a little bit of the castle I could go back to, but I'm not going to. Regardless, awesome game. Another one I probably should have put higher on the list, just because of like it's what is the word? It's
prestige.
Yes, it's prestige. I was trying to think of it. It was right there. It just wouldn't come out. Yeah, the game has just been, it's been praised so much over the years, and so many of my friends
play it a lot. You must have enjoyed it to play it that much.
And some of my friends have told me for years, like, you have to play Symphony of the Night. How have you not played Symphony of the Night? Come on, and yeah. So it was awesome. If you haven't played it, go play it, because I'm glad I finally did, and actually sat down and forced myself to play through it, and it was really good.
That's one game off our sin list there.
Yeah. For sure.
All right, Sadish, what is your number 4 or another game of your 5?
Yes. I'm just going down the list I made. Again, no particular order. Operation Tango. Yeah. We talked about this earlier. It is an asymmetrical co-op game. You play as 2 spies. One is the hacker, and the other is the one who's quote unquote physically moving through the 3-dimensional environment.
The agent that's actually on the floor.
Right. So both of your viewpoints are completely different, because one person is always viewing the world through a computer screen menu system, going through
and they do vary that a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, providing access to the agent on the ground.
Like sometimes it's through security cameras, while sometimes it's like in a weird like matrix zone or something.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Patrick and I played it, and I mean, I can't really say much more than that. There is an overarching story, sort of, but each mission is pretty much self-contained, and yeah, a lot of fun. You'll get into a lot of arguments.
I think my favorite level was that train one on like the metro whatever.
Right. Oh yeah, with the bomb.
Yeah. It was very like keep talking
It
or no one
felt
explodes
rushed.
kind of.
Yes, it
Yeah.
felt rushed. It put a timer on the whole entire situation. So while the other
wedding, and we were
mission-
like, oh gosh, we're
Yeah.
running out of time.
yeah, that was fun. It's a very fun game, and I look forward to the free DLC that just came out for it.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. Even though we talked about it like 2 days ago, we need to play
Yep.
that.
It is downloaded and waiting.
All right. We'll play that later.
I have that too. I need to play that at some point with somebody.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll talk one of you guys into playing it.
All right.
Again, we need some 3-player games here, man. Come on.
We do.
Where's
They
these
need to expand the co-op.
Where are these Secret of Mana?
There's a niche market right there. 3-player co-op games.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess it's up to me next for a number 3 pick.
Number 3
Which-
pick.
I think I might actually change up the order here.
We don't
I
know
think-
your game, then you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, I think for my number 3, I'm gonna go with Ori Will of the Wisp, which I actually
Definitely
just
been playing it.
yes, I've been playing it a lot. I just actually beat it last night or 2 nights ago. Yeah, very recent. I think it was 2 nights ago. So I've now seen it through to the ending, which might have been why I bumped down one because the ending was kind of disappointing. And
And about an hour ago, you just 100%ed it.
well, 100% in one area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It is divided into different areas, so I
Gotcha.
found all the stuff in the snowy region. So I do enjoy the game enough that I'm going back to it and wanting to 100% like explore, just because the best thing about this game is the mechanics, the gameplay. It feels so smooth and nice. It feels so good. It's like Hollow Knight, but mixed with like chaining combos and just dashing around. It feels so good. So mechanically, this game is just beautiful. I love it so much. It definitely has its share of frustrating moments with like some chase sequences and stuff don't quite work as well as others. But the good chase scenes, it feels so good to chain all your combos together and just like effortlessly glide around. Just it's so good. And the production value of the game, like the art is beautiful. It is so gorgeous. The music is just so mesmerizing. It has almost a lot of like Zelda influences to me sometimes with the music. It just feels so good. And like the sound design of the characters is like very Hollow Knight or Banjo-Kazooie with the kind of like gibberish talk. I love it so much. I love when games do that so well. And yeah, the character designs are really, really cool. I love just the design of it is so gorgeous. Yeah. Even with all that said, though, for whatever reason, the story didn't quite grab me. I don't know why. It's very kind of basic, like fantasy Fern Gully. I don't know. So like I love the design, but something just isn't quite pulling me in 100%. So, and like I said, the ending was, I don't know, it didn't just quite land with me. So, but I just love the feel of the game so much, and the look, and the immersion, that it definitely is a game worth playing. And why it makes my number 3 of games of the year. It was just really, really fun, and I'm still playing it. So,
All right.
yeah.
So my number 3 will be kind of quick. It's a DLC for the Messenger, which we spoke about a minute ago. The Messenger Picnic Panic DLC. This game came out like 2 or 3 years ago, and I played the very first section of it, and then I got to this totem pole boss, which was the second boss in the DLC, and I just kept getting wrecked by him. I stopped playing it, and I was like, I'm never gonna beat this game. All right, this sucks. I'm done, I guess. So after beating Metroid, well, I don't even bring up Metroid yet because I would continuously go back to this game just randomly and just play it and be like, I'm gonna beat the totem. Nope, wouldn't do it. And then we're talking, this is like over the last 2 years, even since like COVID. Like...
I recall watching you do this multiple times throughout the years.
So I would bring it up and I would die. And so after playing Metroid Dread, I was looking for my next game to get into, and I was like, you know what? I need to start finishing some of these games that I have. So it's like, I'm going back to the Messenger Picnic Manic. Played it for like 2 days, and I cannot beat that stupid totem pole. Well, I finally beat it. Finally beat the totem pole, and it just completely opened up the game. Like, I got past that and got back to like the platforming and like the puzzle jumping, and I love that game so much with the transition between 8-bit and 16-bit. I've talked about it on this podcast multiple times over our episodes that we've done. I think there's a couple episodes when I was actually still playing the game, or maybe even playing the totem pole I've probably complained about on this podcast. But once I got past it, it's like the 8-bit to 16-bit transitions that open up certain areas of the map. The humor that comes from talking to the shopkeeper, and just the characters in the game, how they talk to you. Every time you die, the guy, like the little devil that follows you, has like a little quip about like, you've died 571 times, blah blah blah, and like they always just, it makes you feel happy, but it makes you chuckle. It's like, oh god, I suck at this game every time I die. But I loved it. I mean, it's Ninja Gaiden, but like on steroids. It's not as hard as Ninja Gaiden, but the platform, it's like Ninja Gaiden with Celeste, because you've got these like weird platforming mechanics you have to do.
You're making me sweat for a little bit, but I can handle it if it's that.
It's easier than Ninja Gaiden. I mean, when I say Ninja Gaiden, I'm talking NES Ninja Gaiden, not the Ninja Gaiden Black or any of those like newer ones that came out.
It's based off your glowing reviews. I picked this up on sale. I haven't played it yet, but
I love it. I love the game so much. But you know, there's a couple spots again where I was like, I'm frustrated. I'm not gonna be able to beat this, and I just kept at it and did it. Like, and I was able to, you know, get into a rhythm where it wasn't taking me 2 years to get past the next part. And when I finally made it to the final boss of the DLC, I loved it. I loved it. It completely changed the game from that to a completely different genre, and like I don't even want to like talk about it because I loved it so much. I mean, you guys have already talked about it. I guess I'll just go ahead and say it anyway. It turns
fast forward 20 seconds if you don't want to know.
Yeah, because I've already told you about it. I showed you guys the video, but like going from that type of game, and then it works so well just because of the humor in the game. It turns into Super Punch Out, essentially. You're Super Punch Out and you're fighting the devil with two massive fists, or like a Telero boxer if you ever played the Virtual Boy. It's so good. It was just so humorous the way it just swapped everything around, and again, like I said, the dialogue is just so good, and just brought a smile to my face. I loved it, and I was so happy that I went back and finally beat that game. And it's challenging as hell. Like I said, like there was times where it was like frustrating, but I was able to do it. And when you do it, you get this sense of accomplishment you're just so happy about. And that's why I kind of say it's like a Celeste mix with a Ninja Gaiden, because you've got that like slashing, jumping challenges that you'd have in Ninja Gaiden, but then you got to bounce off objects in the environment to get where you're going, and like do like a special jump off of something, like a parry jump and stuff like that. So it's just, I love it. The controls are so good. Like I said, the level design, everything is just so well done. The transitions between 8 and 16-bit, Messenger is there. I was finally glad to go back and finish that game. So that's why I'm putting it on my list for this year, because I finally beat it. So good.
As an achievement.
Yeah. So Sadish.
Yeah, I guess my third one on my list is also a DLC.
Ooh.
It is the Norse Lands DLC for Kingdom Two Crowns. Interestingly enough, I was playing Kingdom New Lands, which is the first game, before we started this recording. Yeah, the if you never played Kingdom, it's a pixel game. Very simple game. You play using the numpads. You play as the king, and you develop your little settlement area. You develop your little settlement area using coins gathered by your archers, killing little squirrels and rabbits. In Norselands, I think you're killing squirrels. In the regular game, you're killing rabbits. Every night you get attacked by little demon creatures, and you have to protect your kingdom. The entire gameplay is 2D and side scrolling. So you're just looking at it.
I'm googling this now. It looks pretty.
Yeah, it's very pretty. It is very chill. Like I said, you play with one hand. Just you double tap left and double tap right to make your horsey run, and then you press down on the arrow key to drop down a coin or to spend your coins.
There's one screenshot of him riding a elk. Like
Yes,
Breath of the Wild.
you have different mounts you can get. You have your regular horsey, and then you can get yourself like a reindeer or a deer, or like a king of the deers kind of deal, which allows you to run faster within the forest.
Breath of the Wild, King of the Deer. That reminds me.
King of the Mountain.
Or you can get yourself like a dead horse, like a ghost horse.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Don't take it to a stable; they will not like you.
Or other types of horses, mounts. But in Norselands, it introduces new mechanics, such as you being able to acquire yourself Thor's hammer to provide your little kingdom guys, your serfs, as you would, some assistance against the hordes of enemies. So that's the Norselands DLC, which was fun. I actually just played the demo of it, but Two Crowns allows for co-op.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right, you've very much intrigued me with this. Many keywords: co-op, playing with one hand, and then seeing these screenshots. This sounds like right up my alley.
It's you can spend a lot of time just sitting there, just like running back and forth across the screen. Yeah, it's just fun. It's a very simple game, but it's very well done with very soothing music that you can just like sit back and just relax. And but when the veritable poop hits the fan, it hits it hard. And you'll get to a point where you start getting overrun and you're like, well, that's that. And you just like stop running and you just die. It is a roguelite also.
And that's where he lost chat. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am intrigued though. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna look into that later. After we finish doing our Operation Tango new DLC.
We're gonna have that would be our next thing, the best DLC we've ever played.
Nope.
That would be good. Having what's interesting. So the first one, so Kingdom Two Crowns, obviously Two Crowns allows for the co-op. What's great about that is the fact that since it is just a flat art style and all you do is run left and right, and you get attacked from the left and the right. You can just have one person dedicated to a side, which is great.
You're like, how's the east front over there?
Yeah.
Dying.
So yeah. And even though it sounds simple, the whole point is to get off the island you're on, and then you go off to a different one. And the difficulty does ramp up, but it also gives you the chance to acquire power-ups, of a sense. Permanent upgrades, you might even call them, every now and then.
So that's the like, I forget the difference.
It's not
between
always
roguelite and roguelike, but like
Yeah.
ones that allow you to slowly get more
Yeah,
powerful.
there's
so
not-
it's not.
But the thing with it is, they're not that permanent of an upgrade. Each island could have its own little upgrades, like an archery upgrade that allows your archers to be more accurate and fire faster, or a builder upgrade, which I think not only allows them to build faster, but allows the fortifications that the builders build to be able to sustain more damage. And this is a major thing about Norselands, which is a big deal. So to get
Chad's thinking
people
here,
into
I'm
your-
never gonna
your
have to do
kingdom?
this guest host again.
to get people into your kingdom, you have to run back and forth into the forest, making sure you're not doing it when the beasts or the demons are out, and you'll run across like camps, and you'll drop a coin for the villagers to come to your kingdom. So what Norselands does is allows you to build a brew hall,
Oh.
which you pay actually quite a lot of money, but it'll put out like beer, and it'll draw the villagers to you, which is a great thing. So you don't have to run out into the freaking wilderness, because the way you die in this game is
Wait, how do you normally attract villagers?
you have to run out into the woods.
You just like
And what's-
kidnap them, put a sack on their head, and be
No,
like, "Come
no,
to my village."
You give them a coin. You give them a coin to
Oh,
come
okay.
to you to
Hear
work.
ye, hear ye.
But what's dangerous about that is
Grifters. It's always the
No.
grifters.
so you need to time it, because if they're far away, you might end up
Run
getting
into
there
a
by the
bear on the
time
way
it's
back.
middle of the night, which
Yeah.
is when they start attacking.
Hmm.
And the way you lose is the enemies will just attack you until you've finished dropping all your gold, and your crown drops off your head. And if they capture your crown, that means no crown, no kingdom, as it says on the bottom when it's game over. So yeah.
Beer sounds like a much better tactic then.
That's funny.
Yeah, so that's the Northlands DLC.
Very cool.
But that's Kingdom as a whole, which is a very fun game.
Cool.
All right. I guess that brings us to our number 2, which, as we are trying to wrap up here before it becomes too late.
That's okay.
It's all right.
I stayed
Number
up till
2.
like 2 last night, so what's one tonight?
Well, I don't think I'll have to spend too long on this, but I definitely want to drive home a few points. My number 2 pick is the great Ace Attorney Chronicles,
Nice.
which finally got ported to the Americas. These are 2 3DS games that were never released outside of Japan until just now, and they are very much like your typical Ace Attorney games, your court trials, your detective work, all that stuff. But they do have some new mechanics that are fun, and the main difference is just the setting. It is taking place like, I don't know, hundreds of years in the past in like feudal Japan, like Great Britain, steampunk era kind of setting. So, and you play with the legendary Herlock Sholmes for copyright reasons. But the reason I'm ranking this so highly on my list is just I fell in love with the characters of this game and the story. It was so enjoyable. It's probably one of my favorite Ace Attorney games for that reason. because you really grow to care about all the characters in this game, and the story twist. There are so many moments and beats that just keep you engaged, like with the unexpected. Like your typical Ace Attorney game is find the culprit, he's in the courthouse, he's guilty, you know it, and you proved it. All right. Which is fun. It's fun. But this like really poses like interesting questions and new twists. Like, am I defending a guilty or innocent man? I don't know what implications this has have for me later on. And like one case you're defending someone and then you're like find out that they're not actually murdered and you're like, oh my gosh, whoop. This changes the case completely. Just like so many, I don't want to spoil too much, but like weird twists like that. And it builds to just a very satisfying conclusion. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun from beginning to end. So much fun, I even ended up replaying the first game with my mom, and now she's enjoying it so much she's able to play the second game on her own after I kind of showed her the ropes. So
those games are so fun. Like,
yeah,
just we need to finish up Trials and Tribulations.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If you've played an Ace Attorney game before, this is more of that great goodness and just polished and upped a little bit more. Like, I really love these characters. So yeah, great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Probably my best game of 2021 that I've played.
That's not on your number one.
My number one might be an older game. But
Gotcha.
yeah.
So, all right. So my number 2 game this year was the first game I played this year, and that was Spider-Man Miles Morales.
That's right.
So I played Spider-Man. Spider-Man was the first game I played on my PS5. Played that back in September.
That's Astro.
Oh yeah, Astro. I forgot about Astro. Spider-Man was like that was like the main reason I wanted a PS4. I never had a PS4, so I waited, and PS5 came out, so that's why I got it. Was really to play Spider-Man. Played it, loved every second of that game. It was just done so well. Just flying through the city. The fighting was very frustrating at first, but then I got the hang of it. I just wasn't really understanding the fight mechanics. But then as I got into the game more, it got easier and easier to be able to dodge and
then
counter.
the moves that kind of builds as you go in the game.
Yeah, so yeah, Miles Morales was just more of that. It was just really good. I enjoyed the story too. Like, you know, he's Spider-Man when Peter's on vacation and like, you know, or out of town or whatever. And you guys haven't played it yet, right?
I've not. I've watched bits of it from you and my brother. So.
Yeah, it's really good. It's on sale right now. I think it's like $30 for the PS5 version. At least it was. But yeah, that was the first game I got into, like the very first week of this new year, and yeah, I loved it. It was just like there's nothing else really to say about it. If you played the first one, you played this first Spider-Man. It's more of the same. You know, some twists with like the storytelling and like the way that Miles is kind of attacked by the demons, which is the gang. Just kind of the way they mess with him, and then how it all kind of wraps up at the end of the game. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed every game. Sneaking through, Miles has like a hacking ability he does with his phone to take out like all these electronic like cameras and guns and force fields and stuff like that. And it was just really fun. It's a little bit more of the same. But it was just really well done, and I'm looking forward to Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I definitely should check that out at some point because I did love the first one. And
Yeah, it's just so open. Like the openness of the game, you can go anywhere until you get to like the water of New York City. Like you can go anywhere in the game, and it's just really really cool.
I should have picked it up when it was on sale because it would be a great Christmas game with it being in the winter.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's like the main difference, being all snowy, and that's how it looks different.
Yeah, it's really really good. Yeah. So much fun, and like the music's like really good in it too, and like just everything. Like you're flying through, like, I don't know, just all the different boroughs and like the way things are portrayed differently, and like I don't know, it's really good. Just really really enjoyed that game.
Cool. All right, Sadish. We got 2 games left.
Yeah.
Give us one more.
Yeah. World of Warships Legends. This game surprised me. I was not expecting to get sucked into this game as much as I did on the PS5. It's by Wargaming. They also make another free. World of Warships Legends is free, and they also make another free game called World of Tanks. I prefer World of Warships more than World of Tanks because I feel like it's a slower pace kind of gameplay. But I don't know. There's just something satisfying about giant ships shooting each other from kilometers away and getting those hits off. It's just a lot of fun. It's primarily PvP, but yeah, I've been slowly progressing in it, and I enjoy it a lot. It's a fun game to just like get in and play really quick. It's one of those games where it's like I don't know what to play. World of Warships it is. And most of the time you're dead and sinking in the water after like 2 minutes.
And like you said, you just accept it and die. Like you said in the last game.
Yeah, and then you start off using another ship. So it's great. You get to play as different types of ships, carriers, battleships, cruisers, destroyers. You get to see how in each ship has its own type of gameplay. You learn how to do it, and there's a lot of. I've also been like watching
blasphemous to like the Navy, but I don't think I'd ever be able to tell the difference between these ships.
Yeah, me neither. I to me it was just like I don't know what the hell's going on, but after playing them, it's like you know what? The destroyer is your fast, light ship. Can't be seen very well. Made to really take out the battleships, which are the big honking damage dealers.
Yeah, those are 6 pegs on the board, I believe. Or was it 5 pegs? I don't remember.
Yeah. And you got destroyers have to watch out for the cruisers because the cruisers are the ones that have that medium range and they do really big damage to the destroyers. And the battleships, they're just like off on like the edges of the maps.
And sometimes just Rihanna's in it too, like that horrible movie.
It's weird, dude. That movie is one of those movies that I'll actually like sit down and watch. Like it's on and I'll flip through the channels and I see it on HBO or some channel. I'll go to it and just watch it till the end.
Please tell me that sometime in the movie they say you sunk my battleship.
Did they?
Like you gotta say the title of the movie in the movie.
I don't remember if they actually ever said that.
It's like
I'm sure they did.
It's like when the Juggernaut.
They had to have said it.
It's like when the Juggernaut in X-Men said, "I'm the Juggernaut." It was just such good fan service. No, anyway, sorry, tangent.
This is a fun game, free game, just to pick up, play.
Fun is an important factor for this list.
Yeah.
So.
And then that's really the top 5 I picked. I just picked the top 5 of the games that I had fun with. I made a giant list of all the games that I actually did play and even completed. But if you've noticed, like Tabletop Simulator and Operation Tango, those you don't. I mean, you kind of complete them. Or if you don't, Kingdom you sort of do, but it's whatever. It's just games I had fun with.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's what it matters. That's what matters.
You have other games like Control and stuff that were like massive that I completed, but they were fun, but they didn't like give me the joy. You know what I mean?
At the end of the day, yeah.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
So number 1 game of the year.
If you've watched a few episodes of our podcast throughout the year, you might have heard me talk a lot about this game. And it has remained probably my favorite game I've played this year, which is Final Fantasy VII Remake. It is so good. So good. And I've been reaffirmed with this because I finished the game a long ago, but I played the DLC recently, and I was like immediately sucked back into this world. I was like, I love this game. The production value is just crazy. Like, it just reminded me how much I loved this game from the very first moment doing that bombing mission, and what a rush that was. If you've forgotten that feeling, go back and just play that first mission. You'll be like, oh yeah, this was amazing. What a rush those boss battles are in that game. It's like insane.
The scorpion thing was like, yeah, it was very stressful for me.
It was so good, even being stressful though. It was just like you were on the edge of your seat and it kept shooting out missiles and stuff, and like all the bosses in that game feel so bombastic. Like, that is so good. But beyond just the action of combat, which feels so good, I just fell in love with the world and the characters. Like, I remember watching my siblings play the original because I could care less to play with the turn-based combat and random battles, but the story was still really cool and interesting. And playing the game now, I am like falling in love with these characters because this is like my first time playing the game for real. And I really enjoyed just, it's such a cool world. Like, you're playing as this mercenary and a kick butt girl and like a guy with a machine gun for an arm, and like it's just like the characters are so cool. The cast is so much fun to play with. And they're like,
Wedge is Badger from Breaking Bad.
Yes. The voice acting's really good.
Yeah.
The writing is so much fun, and even though it's like really, really silly at times, you just grow to love that silliness and just dopiness of the game. Despite the like seriousness of the tone it tries to establish, it's really deep down just a silly game. And like when Cloud is trying to earn the trust of the Don Panera, I forget what his gang is down in the seedy underworld, but he's like having to put on a dress and like dance and stuff. It's just such a silly game. You just love those moments, and there's so much more I could or want to say. I'm trying to think.
I need to finish it. I need to go back and finish it.
That's the last thing I want to mention, which I don't want to spoil too much, but it's called Final Fantasy VII Remake, I think, for 2 reasons. One, obviously, because it's retelling the story, you know, hitting those great story beats and stuff. But when you finish the game and you realize the kind of direction it's going in, it's so mind-blowing cool, like how much they thought about this, and really need to finish the game so we can have a spoiler discussion because it's really, really cool. I can't wait to see where they take part 2. So, yeah.
Siddish, have you finished it?
I have not.
Okay, cool. Yeah, maybe I'll make that my next game. I don't know. I got so many next games to play.
You do have a lot of next games, but this is my favorite game I played of 2021. It was so great.
At least this one I probably have the most hours in at the moment. Because I think I'm on like chapter 4.
Oh gosh, you're very early still.
I know, but still, I'm either 4 or 5. I'm like out of the slums, or I'm in the slums. I think I like got the guy's trust to get the job, and I like cleaned up some things for him in the town, and then now
Yeah, that's like chapter 2.
yeah, I thought it was like 3 or 4. I don't know, but anyway, I mean that's still the most hours I have in any other game that I've like.
That's true.
Maybe God of War.
Got a head start there.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how long it ended up taking me. I think it was like 50 hours.
Yeah. Oh, that's so much time for me. That's like half a year for me.
It's so good though. It's so good. I loved every minute of it.
Okay.
So,
maybe I'll make an effort to do it, to finish it. We'll see.
We'll see.
But
if you enjoyed that bombing mission,
it was fun. I mean, definitely fun because like
Yeah.
I beat that game back when it came out. Well, I had a greatest hits version of it on PS1, and that was the first Final Fantasy I actually.
And you guys
completed.
can enjoy the free PS5 upgrade now. So
Yeah, that's true. Is it free now? Did they say it was free?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they just said it would be like a way to upgrade. I never looked into it, but cool. Well, maybe I'll make that an effort because I did have fun with it, and it's more action oriented now instead of just standing there taking turns and watching cutscenes that load so slow on a PS1.
I love so much like how each character feels so unique that you can like hop between them as you're battling, like Bear with his machine gun hitting like airborne enemies, and then you switch to Cloud to slash, and then Tifa's like thinking of kickboxing and
yeah. Okay. I'll maybe I'll make that my goal to knock that out. But there's so many other games. As always.
Yeah.
So.
All right. What is your number 1 pick?
My number 1 pick of this year
Mario
was
Go Super Rush.
So bad. That's my skip of the year. So bad. No, but it is a Nintendo game, and that Nintendo game won Action Adventure Game of the Year 2021, Metroid Dread. I loved every minute of it. I was looking forward to that game coming out all year. And the day I got it, I played it for maybe an hour or 2, and then the next night it was like 4 hours, and then the next night it was another 4 hours. Then the next, like, it was just constantly playing that game. Again, like I said, the game said I beat it in like 10, 11 hours when I finally cleared it, but my overall gameplay, like through the Switch, said it was like 24 hours. So, I don't know if a lot of it was just exploration, but like I never fell asleep or just left the game on or anything like that. So I do remember a couple nights where I was playing it like between 2 and 4 hours, like during the week, staying up till midnight, 1 o'clock at night to beat it. But I loved it. It felt like Super Metroid to me, just with that 2.5D, even though like the game was technically in 3D, it was just you were being presented it from the side.
Yeah. There were those like rare moments where you like aimed and like the angle would shift.
Yeah. And then like they actually had some people that like dissected the game. There's like a camera like thing, and you could like they'd show you that like the worlds, like the environments were actually like super deep 3-dimensional.
Yeah, and they really
stuff,
built it out.
Yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, I loved everything about it. The boss battles, just the enemies, the puzzle solving, the secrets, the everything. Just completely sucked into that. The controls were so tight, felt fantastic.
Definitely had a nice flow to it.
Yeah. I mean, the only issue I have with Metroid games is usually, and it was still here, but that's just Metroid, is a bounce back when you get hit. And, oh no, that was one of my biggest issues with Castlevania, now that I mentioned that. The bounce back was terrible. Metroid wasn't as bad as that. But, the bounce back and some of the Shine Spark puzzles, I basically had to YouTube because there's no way. And even YouTubing them, it took me multiple tries to get some of them. Just because that mechanic is so weird. Of like saving your spark, running, jumping down, going. But no, I loved every minute of that game. the final boss was super challenging. It took me I played him for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. The night I got to him.
You had to like stop and come back to the
Yeah,
next day.
I couldn't do it. Then I stopped, and the next day I went back to him at lunch and like beat him at lunch, and I was like, all right, awesome. So that was nice, to like a nice accomplishment. That I was able to come back from break and be like, I beat him. I finally beat him. And
I remember you posting to our NVC group like, well, I guess I'm not gonna beat this game, and like everyone was like, don't give up.
yeah, for sure, because it definitely, like, that final battle is pretty tough. You've got like 3 boss stages to go through, 4 technically, which like awesome. Like the ending to that game was amazing. Like I love the way that it all worked out, the whole story of Samus and why everything's going on is going on. It was just a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, enjoyed everything about it, and that is my game of the year.
All right. Well earned. Yeah.
So good. I think a lot of it too, like, just real quick, like, it's just like it was so anticipated. Like obviously not like Metroid Prime 4, which is like thing, but like I've beaten 2D Metroid games before where Prime games I haven't beaten because they don't seem to suck me in. So I'm hoping that changes with Metroid Prime 4. But Tread was so, it was just after like Super Metroid and Metroid 2 and like those games I loved so much. So going back to a 2D Metroid game was just
good to see them continue that. Yeah,
and it was very forgiving. Like as much as you die, like the Emmys were annoying. I will say that they were kind of annoying, but like most of the time you didn't even have to really deal with them. Like the hardest issue I had with it
weird. Like their areas aren't really that big. Like you can get through them in a matter of like seconds. Yeah. It's just figuring out how to get through it without dying.
Yeah, and there are some times where it was like, they catch me and like the timing, it was terrible at counteracting, like countering them. But like if you got it, then it was just like, all right, I beat it. Because once you counter them, you just run to the exit or whatever. But yeah, it was really good. Loved it. Definitely play it. So good. All right, Sidish. Final game.
Final game, not necessarily number 1, but
no.
Of your top 5.
So this is probably gonna be short because it's a Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yay! Seen more praises for this game.
I put that up, like, so I wrote out my list of games that I have played this year, and I had it on there, and I thought about it, but I don't feel like I've played it enough to justify that, like, a rating.
So for me, Final Fantasy VII, the original, is a memory of probably my first emotional response to a video game scene, and obviously I'm talking about spoilers.
I think this is pretty universal at this point.
When Sephiroth kills Aerith, which So originally, I preferred Aerith over Tifa, and I put a lot of time into her in the game, and I barely touched Tifa in my party. So when Sephiroth killed her, it was not only it was
an emotional crippling.
Yeah, it was
a double-edged sword.
It was not only a hit, emotionally, it was a hit practically.
Yeah.
Because here I just lost my main healer. Technically my only healer. And that sucked. When that happened, I was like, well, now what do I do? And interestingly enough, when playing Remake, I talked to Patrick about this. They fleshed out Tifa so well. The characters, I mean. They fleshed out Tifa so well in this game in comparison, I feel like, to the original Final Fantasy VII, which I don't know, maybe I was biased. Maybe I just paid more attention to the scenes with Aerith in the original game.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like they didn't spend that much time with Tifa. But like, oh boy, I was full on Team Tifa in this game. And then like when Aerith came around, I was like, I don't know about you this time around, Aerith. And also she also like sort of grated on me a little bit also because like the way her attitude was. But then the whole part up until, Wall Street, chapter 9.
Yeah.
Spent so much time with her also, and then like that moment before we separated. And almost separated, we were saying goodbye. And I was like, do I have to pick? And I was like thinking to myself, like right now, actually, God, this felt so much like how Patrick wanted me to play Doki Doki. I was very ambivalent about my choices in Doki Doki Literature Club. And I was just thinking about this regarding Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I was like, wow, like I was really rooting for Tifa, and now like I had Aerith, and now so I stopped during the Wall Street part. I stopped during the squats. I was doing the squats.
Minigame?
Yeah, I was doing the squats and I stopped. That's where I stopped. So yeah, I need to play that.
Did you do the was the boss house
yes,
monster house?
I fought the house.
Oh, I love that boss. It's so crazy. And it's so like beautifully amplified in this remake, like how over the top it is with the like announcer just narrating your entire fight. It's just so ridiculous, but so epic.
But yeah, Aerith's ability to double your magic attack plus amplify its damage. Oh, when she goes, that's gonna suck. Not having that ability anymore.
So
yeah, you really, really, really need to finish this, and then I can have finally someone to spoiler talk this with.
So there we have it, the Cucco Attack top 5. So I mean, if 2 people have picked the Final Fantasy VII Remake, then that is the game of the year.
Go play it. It is everything you've wanted all these years, waiting for a remake of this game. Seriously.
I mean, also for me, like, music plays such a key part in like a lot of like the media I consume. But so just having that music play in the background is it's pure nostalgia that's been upgraded. So, yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Well, there it is.
With that, I think we finished right
At 2
1 hour late as what we wanted.
2 hours and 32 minutes. We probably could have split this into 2 episodes, which you might be able to do with some editing magic,
Maybe
potentially.
Make it double the video production so we can look like we've been busy.
Because we definitely could have just done a podcast episode and then done a Game of the Year episode, because the Game of the Year episode was about an hour and 30 minutes. So, roughly. So, but yeah, with that said, we finally got an episode out, or done, recorded. We'll get it out. And hopefully not have such a long hiatus between things. I'm sure we can come up with some.
We still have to do our 2022 fantasy draft.
Correct.
We're gonna do a fantasy draft for sure.
Yep.
So that'll probably be done in the next 5 days. So we'll have that up shortly.
And then hopefully
have
the year
another.
will keep us waiting for some good news to talk about. So.
Yeah, good news. What's that? I forgot what good news is. But with that said, that's the end of this episode. Hope you had a Merry Christmas, as it is no longer Christmas here anymore. And as always,
until next time, everyone, happy gaming, and probably by the time this posts, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
so we will talk to you guys then. See ya.
Your heart will race for more once you start.